we are going to start with 8.5 today. And that means we are adding / subtracting, because it really means the same thing. Rational expressions. Remember, when we add and subtract rational expressions, we have to get a common denominator. So I want to first start with reminding you normal fractions, how we actually add those, and we've talked about this before. And actually, at the beginning of the year, back in algebra, I told you that if you learn to add fractions my way, it would make it easier later. Well, now it's later. Okay? If we have 2/3 plus, let's say, 7/6. We'll do it that way. I always told you to go ahead and put an equals and draw a line. Right? We had to come up with our common denominator. In this case, my common denominator is 6. I put it over here, right? Over here, I multiply by the missing factor. So this only has a 3 on the bottom, which means in order to get to my common denominator, I have to multiply it by 2. So I'm going to times the top by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. My middle expression is an addition, positive. Now, over here, this has a 6 on the bottom. So do I need to multiply 7 by anything? Nope. So I'm going to write 7. And then we just add the top line. So 4 plus 7 is 11, and we keep our common denominator. Right? Let's try another one real quick. Let's say I have 9 over, let's go 9 over 4 minus 5 over, what can I do? How about 10? Equals, we draw our line. Our common denominator between 4 and 10. 20, very good. So I'm going to put my 20 over here. Well, you're looking for a number that they both go into. So technically, this is how I'm going to say it, over here, 4 is 2 times 2, and 10 is 2 times 5, right? Technically, that's happening. What do you notice is in common in both of those denominators? 2. So I have a 2 in both, so I'm going to put a 2 over here. So I'm going to get rid of those. And then what's not in common is a 2 and a 5. So really, I'm going to multiply all of those together. That's what you really did in your head. It was 2 times 2 times 5, where we got 20. So all those factors, right? Now, this first one has the 2 2's, but it's missing what factor? The 5. So we're going to times this one by 5. So 9 times 5 is 45. My middle process is minus. This factor has the 2 and the 5. What is it missing? The 2. Times this one by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Now I just have to worry about the top line. 45 minus 45 minus 10 is 35 over 20. And of course, we always look to see if we can reduce it. Both of these can reduce by 5. So this is 7 over 4. Okay, so now we're going to use the same idea. We're going to add some letters at the bottom. All right? Don't give me that look. All right, so here we go. Here are steps I want you to think about. Step 1, I want you to factor everywhere. Step 2, I want you to state restrictions. Step 3, I want you to find the common denominator. Step 4, multiply each fraction by the missing factor. Step 5, simplify. All right, so we're going to start off super, super easy. Super easy. Here we go. Example number 1. Example 1. Let's say I have 1 over 4x plus 1 over 4x. I factored everywhere. I got to state my restriction. What can x not equal? 0. Very good. If I set that equal to 0, divide by 4, I get 0. Okay, step 3 says to find the common denominator. Draw my line. What's my common denominator? 4x. Very good. That's on the bottom. On the top, do I need to multiply my first one by anything? I have 1. My middle process is plus. Second fraction, do I need to multiply that one by anything? I get 1. 1 plus 1 is 2 over 4x. And then, of course, you have to look to see if you can reduce it, just like the one I did right above this, right? What can I reduce by? 2. So this actually is 1 over 2x, with, of course, my restriction that x cannot equal 0. All right, so we can get a little bit tougher? Yeah, I think so. Well, it's all from the same section, so it's not really yeah, it's all in the same section. Example number 2. Let's get a little bit tougher. Okay, so let's go with 3y plus 4 over x squared y plus x minus y over 2xy. All right, let me get this out of my way. We're going to go equals. We're going to draw our line. So first of all, it's all factored already. So now I got to find my common, or nope, I got to state my restrictions. Start at the bottom. X cannot equal what? It's not in effect 0. Very good. I also have one more variable down there. Y cannot equal what? Good. Okay. Now we've got to find our common denominator. Just like we did when we were doing regular fractions, we have to take every single factor. So in this one, I have an x. I'm going to put an x over here. They both have a y. This one has one more x, and I include that. And this one has a 2. So my common denominator is 2x squared y. It includes all the factors. We're all okay? In this first one, I have an x squared and a y. What factor is this one missing? The 2. I heard somebody say it. The 2. So I'm going to times 2 by 3y plus 4. Plus, what factor is this one missing? It's got a 2, it's got one x, and it's got a y. So what is it missing? An x. So we're going to times this one by x. Whoa. Come back. All right, I kind of squeezed in there. Sorry about that. All right, so right now I'm going to go ahead and distribute. Actually, I'm going to rewrite it down here so we can see it a little bit better. Plus x times x minus 1 all over 2x squared y. So first thing I'm going to do is if I'm simplifying it, I have to distribute, right? So 2 times 3y is 6y. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus, I also have to distribute over here. X times x is x squared. And x times negative 1 is negative x. Is there any like terms I can combine together there? Nope. So my final answer is going to be 6y plus 8 plus x squared minus x all over 2x squared y. Okay. Example number 3. All right, let's make it a little bit better. Let's say we have 3x over x squared minus 16 plus 2 over x plus 4. Very first thing we do is factor everywhere. At the bottom left side, what do I have there? Good. So that will factor to x plus 4 times x minus 4. I'm going to get rid of this. So now, underneath both fractions, the factor that's in common is x plus 4. I'm going to write that over here. Right? So technically I have, so far, this one and this one. Now I have to write down the factor that isn't in common. That's x minus 4. So my common denominator is both of those factors together. We're okay with that? All right, so now, in this first one, I have both factors. So do I need to multiply 3x by anything? Okay, so I'm going to have 3x plus. What about the second one? It's got the factor of x plus 4, but it doesn't have x minus 4. So I'm going to times this by x minus 4. All right, so I have 2 times x minus 4. And now we're going to go ahead and simplify. So I have 3x plus 2 times x is 2x. Of course, I misstated my restrictions. We'll get to that in a second. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8 over x plus 4 times x minus 4. What can I combine together on the top line? The x's, absolutely. So I have 3x plus 2x. Hi.
Quick question. Do you have any junior high turn-in track uniforms yet?
I had a couple.
Okay. I'll make an announcement today because Phyllis just said a tax math. So I'll make an announcement after this hour when I do
Okay.
track. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. X plus 4 times x minus 4. All right, let's go back and talk about the restrictions that I skipped over. I apologize for that. All right, so back here, x cannot equal. In the first one, what can x not equal?
4.
Negative 4. The second one? Positive 4. How about this one? Which we already have, right? All right, so you guys, give me your questions. No, we're okay? It's almost like clearing the fraction. You're multiplying by what's missing. All right? Okay. Let's try another one. Example number 4. Let's do y over 3y plus 6 minus 5 over y plus 2. Okay, so I have to factor everywhere. Where's the one spot I need to factor? 3y. Good. I can undistribute a 3. So I get y plus 2. All right, so now I factored everywhere. Let's state our restrictions. Y cannot equal what? Good. Y cannot equal negative 2. All right, now let's find our common denominator. Both fractions have a y plus 2, so I'm going to write that down. What else do I need to include in my common denominator? 3. Good. All right, starting at the top. In my first fraction, it has both factors, right, on the bottom that are in my common denominator. So I just get to write down y. My middle process is minus. I have 5, and what does 5 have to be times by? 3. Good, it has to be times by 3. So On the top, I get y minus 15. On the bottom, I get 3 times y plus 2. And we can stop right there. Okay? So I'd like to do one last example if you guys are good, but you got to tell me if you got any questions. No, we have no questions. It's making perfect sense. Okay. All right, last example then. All right. Let's go with 5x over x squared minus x minus 6. Minus, let's go 4x over x squared plus 4x plus 4. All right, what do we have to do first? Factor. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and draw my x, negative 6 on top, negative 1 on the bottom, would be negative 3 and 2. So I have x minus 3 and x plus 2. Cross that out. Over here, I got a factor. 4 on top, 4 on the bottom. 2 and 2, good. So I have x plus 2 times x plus 2. Cross this out. All right. Let's state our restrictions. X cannot equal for this one. For this one, negative 2. How about this one? And that one. Perfect. All right. I'm going to go down here and write my common denominator. I always suggest you write the factor that's in common first. So they both have an x plus 2. All right, so that takes care of these because they have them in common. We have to include the other factors now. This one has an x minus 3, and this one has another x plus 2. So that is my common denominator. So in my first fraction, what do I need to multiply my 5x by? X plus 2, very good. Because it's got the other 2, it doesn't have that third one. All right, then I have minus. What do I need to multiply my 4x by? Good, x minus 3, excellent. Understanding that part right there is the hardest part. Now we just distribute and collect like terms, right? So 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. Negative 4x times x is negative 4x squared. Negative 4x times negative 3 is positive 12x. So 5x squared and 4x squared is x squared. 10x and 12x is 22x. And our common denominator on the bottom, x plus 2 times x minus 3 times another x plus 2. Now, you are welcome to write that as x plus 2 squared if you want, but you do not have to. Okay? So it's the same thing. Any questions? Okay. So, page 539, you're doing 11 to 21 all. The first couple, super easy. Of course, they build and build and build. The last one's probably going to be the toughest, but you guys got this.